welcome back to Pantheon of Geeks. Today join us for a look at Stargrave's Bold Endeavour book. This is just a book, I don't have the models yet, I haven't purchased them. So we're just going to have a quick look at what this book is today and whether it's worth getting for Stargrave. So, let's dive in here. We have our contents, as usual, an introduction. That's a brief explanation of what this book contains, but we'll go through it. We do have some new backgrounds in here. We have the Time Walker, which when I first saw him, I just thought Doctor Who, and obviously a vibe that he wants to give off. But when you read the description of it, it's a lot less Doctor Who than you think. It's like Doctor Who light, like the baby steps to becoming a Time Lord. The stat modifications for this guy, hopefully you can see it there. But the model looks exactly like the artwork. It does look pretty cool. I would like to get it, just have the model and just to paint it, to be honest. I'm not sure if I'll be using a Time Walker myself in a crew, though they are interesting. The next one is the Paladin. No picture of a Paladin here. There is a model for the Paladin. That is basically the stat block there. And ultimately, they have to be a captain if you're taking a Paladin. And you have to give a percentage, a 10% of all the credits you earn to the order that the Paladin that you are a member of. You do get some nice bonuses though, and you're obviously a very good fighter in close combat. Well, the model looks pretty good. It's more of a tempting to me than the Time Walker as far as actually playing it, but I probably will get a Paladin model at some point and I can show it off to you guys. Those are the new powers. We have Bounce Back and Contacts. We have Probability Curve, Righteous Fury, Saving Grace and Thunderstrike. Those are all the new powers. New soldiers, we have apprentices. Now, these are basically, because this book is mainly focused on giving you a spaceship and allowing you to play out your fantasies of having a spaceship and a crew and everything. What an apprentice is your basic crew, almost like a ensign in Star Trek or something like that, or whatever you want to call them. Just the basic guy that you've got to do something. So when you take one of these guys, you give them a specific area of knowledge, be that pilot, ship gunnery, navigation, engineer science, or doctor knowledge, and they gain bonuses based on that. These guys cost 20 credits. They are quite basic as far as the stats goes, but obviously they come along with that specialist knowledge, and that helps you with your ship rolls later on. We have a Contact, which is more of a sort of in between ship and battlefield. We have more stuff for those, but they are basically what it sounds like. They are a communications officer with a direct communications link and data loot and stuff like that. And there's no model for them yet, but I imagine the model will look a lot like that when they do produce it, because they generally tend to be very close to the artwork. It's one of the good things about Stargrave when they produce artwork, and a lot of models come out that are very similar or identical to the artwork. We have exosuits. So this is basically Ripley from Aliens. There is a model for this, and it basically is a guy that looks like a trooper, but with the Aliens loading mech. And essentially that's what it is. It's a big exosuit that you wear and destroy things with. Looks pretty cool. I'm not sure I'll be adding one into my crew, but I'll try and get the model because it does look pretty cool, and then I've always got the option. Expert is much like the Apprentice. It fills the same roles, but it's just better at it. Costs 100 credits. Is more useful on the battlefield as well because they've got better stats. So that is an Expert. And those are pretty much your new troop types, apart from the Quartermasters. These guys give you a bit of ship engineering and abilities to unlock loot tokens in the actual game. So again, they're a bit of both as well. It's interesting considering the amount of soldiers we now have and the tight space we've got to fit them into a roster as to what to take, especially where spaceships are involved. In a lot of ways, if you're going to use the spaceship rules from this, you're probably going to want to take a different type of crew than you would normally take, probably considerably different. It does also send rules here about medics and engineers. They don't the existing medics and engineers don't automatically come with doctor and engineering because they didn't want to go back and change the rules. I understand that, but it also feels a little bit weird. And in a way, if you were taking a ship, you just wouldn't take a medic or an engineer now. You'd probably just want to take a doctor and an engineer, like an expert version of that. But yeah, that's my thoughts so far. And it does also say here that captains and first officers can be given some of these skills as well. You just when you take a skill roll, you just take the appropriate skills. If you want your captain to be a pilot, if you're going for the Han Solo, you want him to be a pilot, so you're given the pilot skill when he gets the upgrade. The spaceship sheet. So this is basically a breakdown of what the sheet at the end is, and basically you get a name and a class. You basically make up a name and a class for your ship. There's no real differences. I'm slightly disappointed at that because I would like to have seen maybe tougher ships but with less weapons, and I'd have liked to see at least 3 different types of basic ship. One which is obviously like a tank, one which is about DPS, and then maybe one which is more about transporting and supporting. I don't know, but basically there's no difference. You just call it what you like and call it whatever class you like. The structural integrity of each ship is 1,000 points, and things will happen to the ship where the structural integrity drops. 1,000's a lot, and as long as you maintain your ship, you're not going to have many problems with that. It's not like they're just going to suddenly blow up. But if you don't maintain your ship and you let it get low enough when you're moving between planets and you roll on random things that can happen, chances are your ship could get blown up, and if it does, that's game over. Then it goes on about crew assignments, who's assigned to what, and this is a bit about captains and first mates and the experience options. Ships can also be damaged and gain quirks and stuff like that as you go along through the game, and there's a whole set of tables for that. And all this covers the ship damage, and these are the different quirks you can have. Just for an example, you can end up with sticky controls, so the ship suffers -1 to all pilot rolls, and to repair that would cost 500 credits. Or cargo hold damage. The ship can never hold more than 3 trade goods, one at a time, regardless of value. If the crew receives more than 3, it must discard 1, and that's 300 credits to repair. So all these damage can be repaired. And then the ship maintenance. So if you do have an engineer on board, you can repair non-critical, just like hull point damage, for free as you go along. You can roll dice, and then they can spend the time repairing the ship. It's not going to do a massive amount of repairs to the ship, and you're probably still going to need to spend money to get it repaired, but it's something to keep you going. And then we're on to space encounters. So these are actually a lot of things that can happen to you while you're in space. You might find, for instance, an abandoned station, and you can choose to go on to the station or not. It's up to you. But if you do, you can have anything from fighting a space demon to getting a nasty virus or finding nice loot. And each of these random occurrences has different effects. Some of them are positive, some of them negative. Oh, there's a picture of the Paladin, by the way. It does come with 2 shield options as well. I think one's like an energy shield and one's like it's pretty standard shield. These are all the things that can happen. Wounded space well, nice. As I said, if you want to look into it in more detail, obviously go and buy the book. Then we have a bunch of scenarios. So we have the the worst named scenario I've ever seen in my life, the Crystal Caves of Caveleth. I mean, was that AI generated? So these are the scenarios that are specific to this book. And so I get the most out of playing with a ship and playing with a crew. We have Psychic Screams. We have Preparing for Scenario 3. Elemental Sphere. Surface Waves. I've only briefly looked at these. The scenarios in Stargrave are generally really good though. I do like them. So we have Plasmonic Hitchhikers. So that's, I think there was a picture. Not on that one. Basically, that one just like things stuck to your ship. Oh, there it is. It's on the next page. Just to give you an idea of what that scenario is about. So we have Advanced Technology and Alien Artifacts and Ship Upgrades. So this is all the new stuff, basically, that you can earn during the game. So just take a quick look at that table. I'm not going to go into what each thing is, but just to give you a flavour, those are the kind of things you can get. Obviously they all have rules. And there they are. Again, there's some interesting artwork in this for creatures, and that's one thing not seen as much of as for like Frostgrave. We need more creatures for Stargrave, more models, because while we can use pretty much anything we want to represent them, over the course of the books the creatures have become more and more specific. I mean, we've got one where they're just zombies, so that's fine, you just use generic zombies. Then you get creatures that are very specific looking, and it's like trying to find a model that looks anything like that can be very difficult. Even the Shangri-La, which is I think from the first book, finding something that actually looks like that's really difficult. I've gone eventually for just using Gremlins models that I found on Crooked Dice, just because they are sort of the same thing and do sort of the same thing, and I kind of like Gremlins. I want an excuse to buy them. But what we need is more monsters, basically, for Stargrave. Gold stamp, platinum, straight out of Star Trek. And so ship upgrades, again, just to show you a flavour of what these are. Let's have a quick look at the top view. There we go. Torpedo tubes. So massive upgrade there. Increased structure, armor plating, photonic shielding. That definitely sounds Star Trek again. Repair robots. So there's quite a few options there for your ship to be upgraded. Again, this is another monster. It's on the next page, and it's basically a camel monster thing, but it's sentient. And I need a model of that because it's this thing here, this Arsendrider, which is basically a arsenic-based life form, and it's basically that camel thing. But you know, finding a proxy model for that, or it looks anything like it, good luck, unless you're converting one up yourself or 3D printing one from someone. We need models. And we have Click Clacks, and we have Living Lightning. That's probably easier to find a model like that. Plasmonic life forms, that's fairly straightforward, just anything that's Cthulhu-esque, like a Shoggoth something, just a blob thing. And then we have String Life, which I presume is that thing there. That's great. That deserves its own model. That's cool. Anything that's got artwork deserves its own model, just point blank. And a lot of things that doesn't have artwork as well. Then we have some new attributes at the end of the book, and that is the book itself. So the book is essentially 90% about getting your own ship, a couple of new classes. The soldiers in there are mainly for supporting the ship, but there are a couple of interesting ground options if you're not using it. The exosuit being the most devastating of those options. It's a nice book. It's going to go in my collection with the rest of Stargrave stuff because I've got all the Stargrave books so far. Do you need this to play Stargrave? Not at all. if you want to fulfill your fantasies of having a spaceship, this is the first rung on that ladder. Like I said, I would like to have seen, this is where my criticism comes in, more ship types that do different things. Ultimately, as you go along and you build on your ship will become more unique. So there is that, but that's going to take time, and it would be nice to have at least 3 different starters, and then something to build from, whether you wanted more of a combat-y craft or more of a transport-y craft or more of a tanky type craft, something basic like that. Maybe just a difference in hull structures, or maybe a difference in the amount of weapons it can take, or just something little small bonus that makes them flavour-wise different, rather than just being the same ship until you upgrade it. But on the other hand of that, that means you can imagine any ship you like and just fit it into there. So there is an advantage to just making it completely generic. But there we go. That's my thoughts, my ramblings on it. Is it a good book? Yes. I'm glad I got it? Yes. Am I going to get the models that they've released with it? Yes. And should they release more models for all of Stargrave? Yes, especially the monsters. Filling those monster gaps can either be sometimes really good because you'll just see something that looks the part, or there's still, like I said, there's still monsters from the first book. I'm searching for something that I'm happy with that looks like it's meant to. But ultimately, you can use any proxy monster you like. You could use a cardboard cutout if you wanted. I wouldn't stop anyone from doing that on the tabletop. They can use whatever they want. But there we go. So that's Bold Endeavour for Stargrave. When I get the models, I'll probably do a little short video on that, because it's not really an unboxed, it's just more of a gluing together, because they're just metal models, for now anyway. Still hoping that they'll release a plastic robot box set, still hoping that they'll release a lot of plastics for Stargrave, to be honest. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. Anyway, if you've watched this and listened to me ramble, well done. Please like and subscribe though, and hopefully you'll join us again soon for more Stargrave and whatever else we're doing. Bye for now.